What's going on, guys? Welcome to a new beginning slash old ending slash new Roman 2020. Gyms are back, opening back up. What is going on? Episode 35 in the mix. Who is this guy standing on the other side of the screen of me?
How many people, I'm Roman. How many people do you think are overtrained at this point? They just like miss the gym so much they just absolutely destroy themselves on day one.
You know what? I'm thinking more than 80% of the population are going to feel DOMs, pretty much.
Oh,
So,
absolutely, absolutely. I
so
think it might even
uh,
be higher than that. The fatality rate from going too hard in the gym is probably higher than the fatality rate of COVID-19.
in other news, fatality. Whoopsies. Um,
Finish him.
but yeah, man, we got another good episode for you guys today. We are taking a break from the
Detour.
four-part series. Yeah, it's there's a pothole. We took the other road around, but we did take a stop at another destination while we're going to that final point. So as you could tell, we're not going to do part 4 today. So Roman, what can you tell us about what we're going to talk about today, as well as I don't know if you want to throw, I mean, and then also if you want to add that little teaser schmeezer after you tell us what we're going to be talking about today too, as well, sir, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we want to take a little detour today, so that we could, really truly like sit back and reflect and give you some of our like our observations, what we learned, like where we grew through this whole quarantine experience. Gyms will probably be closed near me for like another couple of weeks, so I'm still gonna be doing like the workouts from home until then. I've been mixing it up a little bit recently, but we wanted to pretty much cover like what we've learned since being in quarantine, and I think this can be broadly applicable. So it'll be probably called something catchy like um, how we like became beast mode in quarantine or whatever. But I think this could be broadly applicable for any time in life where you kind of have like a downtime from the gym or any of like your health and fitness goals, because there are going to be times where for like need or want that you're going to step away from the game. And like what's really important is that use that time for reflection, and when you come back, your head's like right in the right place and you're ready to go. Like you're ready to like slam on that accelerator, like go up to like the speed limit, 65, and stay right there at the speed limit. Don't jump a mile per hour higher. No, but so yeah, we just want to give you a little bit of like reflection of what we learned throughout this time, some ways that you might be able to like throw some of like these observations into your training and really make it like totally beast mode moving forward.
Yeah, yeah. And to Roman's point, like we've mentioned before, Roman's more closer to the downtown area of Chicago, of Illinois, in Illinois, of Chicago, of Illinois, in either way, whatever. And I am of Chicago. So I don't know really what the difference is between like politics and like deciding that factor. I'm assuming it's because Roman lives by more population. But yeah, like Roman was saying, gyms are now open. I think fully as of this Monday, which was into a time lapse because we release these videos on a Friday. So pretty much, yeah. I mean, we've gone over what to expect in previous podcasts as well, and Roman and I kind of guessed it when it comes to like, what like some of the procedures they're doing. If your gym hasn't reached out to you, they've that out before you head to the gym, because some things you might not have or know by the time you get back there. That's the only thing I want to kind of say about that is like just make sure make sure you get the mask. There's a lot of memes out there. It's like keys, wallet, phone, and then like there's the other picture of you running back because you forgot your mask. So, so what? I think this is a great start of what's one thing, Roman. I think I have a couple of mine, and we could talk through them. But let's have you go first. What's like one thing you've learned from like working out at home / not being able to go to the gym? Like, what's one thing that came out of this training when you're when you're at your home?
Yeah, one huge thing is so I use a lot of bands just because that was what was accessible for me, and then I also wanted to like when I talk to people, I wanted to like draw from like my experience like throughout that time and let them know because like some people might have like physio bands hanging around like me. That's like exactly what I had, and like I did look into like maybe buying like an adjustable dumbbell set, and like it's a decent like amount of money, so I was like like one, I'm cheap, but two, like I don't know if other people could afford this, so I'm gonna try and like premise most of my movement patterns off of like just regular body weight exercises, and then like the muscles that are like a little bit more tricky to hit. I'm sure I could like figure out ways to do it, but I use bands for those. So I think the thing that I learned like the most, and like the that gave me like the most impact that I was looking for, which was probably like the one thing that like shocked the hell out of me, was banded lateral raises. So taking a band, like I had a really long like physio band that I would do like ultra high reps, but it's like the one thing that like I don't mind doing ultra high reps on. So it'd be like 20, 30 plus. And so it was a band that I could hold under both my feet and bring up like just above the 3.9 mark or like the 180 mark, and like really hold in that peak contraction for the lateral delts, and then like a really nice slow eccentric. So like I was saying, I do like 20 to 30 reps, all sets to failure, because the lateral delts tend to have like a pretty like high recovery rate. I think I only ended up getting some type of like dull like shoulder joint pain like once throughout all of quarantine. So over like 3+ months, I was probably not being like as diligent about like controlling the movement. So it's probably like much more herky jerky whenever I'm like that, like especially with like squats. Like I stopped doing body weight squats because I was doing like 100+ per set to like really feel anything. And I would get a really good pump, but I'd get so freaking bored, man. Like I'd time it, and it'd be like 3-4 minutes of like body weight squats, like just to start feeling like a pump in my quads. And I'm like, oh my god, man, this is ridiculous. I need to figure out something else. So I was doing like Bulgarian split squats, which was like much better, and then I like did them front loaded and whatnot. But I'd say like the big thing that I learned is, man, if you listener, thanks for tuning in. If you've never tried bands for pumping up your lateral delts, like I've added a considerable amount. Like I'm so juiced about it, because like when I like do my like progress check-ins, like I'll usually just like check myself out in the mirror. I'll run through some poses. That's another thing that I've done. I've like gotten a lot into posing. Like I'll go through like the side chest, like side tricep, like I've actually like developed lats over quarantine somehow. So I'll do like the front lat spread and stuff like that. And man, the lateral delts, like they really pump. And when they're like pumped up, I'm like, holy shit, I've got freaking side delts. Like what's going on, baby? So I'm really stoked about that. If our listeners want to try it out, I'd say start with 3 sets, and then just go to like, since you're going to be doing bands, if you're in the like the 10+ rep range, I feel pretty confident in saying you can go to a failure. If you've never experienced like failure, maybe just go until you like start to get like a crazy muscle burn. But like even sometimes I would do like some John Meadows partials, where I just like, I love the pump so much I could only like get up to like here, but I would just be like, all right, and just like a couple of partials before like I like just could not move my arms anymore. And like the lateral delt is like this such like a tiny muscle here. So yeah, I'm really stoked that I had like really great results. Learned a lot while I was doing them, and yeah, I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Roman, come on, man. I know you like to give me more than I asked for, but two of them instead of just one, man, you're making me go crazy with the posing. But no, that's awesome, man. I definitely could tell you, honestly, bands are underrated when it comes to working out and whatnot. To add to your point, I didn't really use bands too much because I don't have bands myself. Um, but I did buy Sam the hip circle.
Nice.
So I did add another piece of equipment from Mark Bell's Mark Bell's what is it? How much you bench? Is that
Yeah.
still the website?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So, or well, the brand name is Mark Bell Slingshot. Let's just say that. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. I mean, so when Sam was using that to like squat or whatnot, she's feeling a heck of a burn when it comes to like the yoga sessions. I know we had her on in the couple podcasts ago, but she mentioned that she's doing like hit workouts slash like yoga sessions, and there's so much out there when it comes to like lifting and doing variables of training. Like you're able to do squats with a hip circle. You're able to do like the knees out where you're extending the knees and trying to get that like glute work still in. Lunges, things that you don't really necessarily do when you're at the gym and whatnot. But also to add on that, and the Romans thought of bands and how interesting they are. And Roman mentioned to me that he was going to keep some of that training when he goes back to the gym, either bring the bands with him or do it at home, which is really something that like is awesome because not only Roman like learn that his body can grow off that, like two, like that just makes his knowledge base like way more of a wide variety, because like when Roman like goes ahead and talks to someone, they might not want to do dumbbell work. They might not want to do like stuff like that. And that's totally fine. Like if you're talking about the rear delts and the delts, like yes, it's a very important place, but it's a place where you can hit it on different angles as well as get a good resistance. Um,
Yeah.
and what I've used on that note for bands would be the blood flow restriction wraps or whatever you'd call them. Pretty much like the bands where it has like a clip where you can lock in. If you don't know what blood flow restriction working like lifts are and like the movements, I wouldn't do them too much when you're a beginner. Make sure you've had a decent training knowledge. So if you don't know what that is, I wouldn't really like suggest to like look into it. I know like if you're looking at Bradley Martin, you see him do it, you might do it. No, I would look more into like the actual knowledge behind it. But with that training, that allowed me to kind of gave my shoulders, my biceps, my triceps, and also my quads and my hamstrings a very decent slash increased pump when I'm doing like body or not body squats like Roma was doing, but I did have like a 50-pound easy curl bar. I was squatting with that. It would allow me to we do have a machine downstairs in the basement of a hamstring curl. So I would put the blood flow or BFR band on to get more of a pump in the hamstring. And then as well as, like I said, doing dumbbell work, either doing with my arms, shoulders, there's a shoulder press down there. So, it allowed me to like realize how much I didn't do. The only time before this I would do BFR training, um, was like if I wanted to do like maybe like a little burnout set when it comes to like bicep curls. That's like the only thing I really touched before like quarantine. And because like with like regular workouts and whatnot, and like if I had like machines, I would already feel the pump. So it's like, it's not like to say like my training lacked like that pump. It just allowed me to, engage the pump when I didn't have like every machine at my disposal, every dumbbell, every barbell. And speaking of which, I'm really mad at you guys for not finding me a barbell. I'm a, I'm gonna extend this offer. I still will buy a barbell if anyone's got one out there. Holy cow, man! If you made it this far, please reach out to me. I don't care if you know a friend, you know a guy on the street that maybe took one off the alley. I don't care at this point.
The guy around the corner in a trench coat, if he's got a dumbbell or a barbell under there,
Well,
we need to know. We need
yeah.
to know.
Hey, it's gonna cost about $350.
Don't hesitate. Call now. 555-555-5555.
Yes, please.
No,
Eh,
but I don't want to like overplay bands. I wouldn't say that it's like something that is like, oh man, have you tried band training? Because man, like I got
no, people
so
do that.
like
People do that. I bet.
yeah
I
yeah
bet there's probably been marketing,
yeah
problems that's been
there
going the
have been
past 3 months.
there have been yeah for sure 100%. Man, bands are freaking trash. If you get like physio bands, if you've got like decently strong, like let's say like biceps, triceps, like shoulder muscles, you can't do overhead presses because you're going to be doing like 70 plus reps before you get fatigued. You can't do bicep curls. You can't do tricep extensions. You can't do kickbacks. Kickbacks is pretty decent. You get
Yeah,
a
yeah.
decent because like maybe I use like 20 pounds for dumbbells for tricep kickbacks. Like that would be like I'm probably like patting my ego. But just trying to be like realistic. Um, Using like a decent band, like you get a pretty good pump. Um, the tricep I think is like pretty poorly leveraged in like the positions where you have like the greatest stretch. So that's why it's like difficult. Um, yeah. So like the idea behind band training and why it's so ingenious for like the lateral delts is because it's going to continue to add resistance the more you stretch the band. Um, so whereas a band like on a lateral delt might feel like 15 pounds at let's say like the 45 degree mark, but once you get to like the 90-degree mark or like the arms like straight ahead, um, or not straight ahead, like, but to your side, like completely to your sides, like parallel to the ground, if you will, it's going to feel like closer to like 20, 25 pounds. I'm just making up numbers, but it's like, it's adding resistance as you're pulling them. So that's why it's like so ingenious, because at like the top of the lift, like that's where disadvantaged, and that's where like I found that band training like really pumps up the delts, whereas sometimes with like dumbbells you can feel like you're getting more of like a pump, or you're getting more of a workout like in, let's say, like your traps, like maybe your upper traps, because you're like performing like more of a shrug. So like in that instance you really need to like focus on like initiating and developing like scapular stability. So I mean there's a lot that goes behind that, but I wouldn't say band training is like a godsend, or it's like
Yeah.
the next like evolution in training, but I would say like it is most certainly worth it to try it out, try different movements, and see where you feel it best. You might get like a gnarly pump doing like bicep curls with bands. Like I'm not talking like I got these like flimsy like physio bands which are like you can see through them. It's like, oh hello. So I like some lifts I'd have to double, triple them up. I'd grab like extra bands, type situation. But there are some like really great bands from like, I think FTS has like a pretty legit band kit, which can add like hundreds of pounds of resistance, and people use them for like traditional barbell workouts. So like if they're deadlifting, they might use a band to add additional tension at the top of the movement, whatever it might be. So there's some like diesel bands out there. So I'd encourage you, if you were interested, to try it out. Like definitely do so if you have like the financial means, and you're curious and you have some time. Like let's say like your gym is still like not open, and you like listen to this podcast, you're like, oh, that's really cool. Like what Roman talked about, I want to see like what bands could like do for me. I would definitely encourage like all of our listeners to check it out, but I also wouldn't expect it to be like a game changer for you. You might find like one or two movements that you would like incorporate moving forward, or like you would cycle in, but that's like my 10 cents there.
Your 10 cents. But yeah, no, that's really good. So like, no, like, it's like that's why I mentioned hey, yeah, the pumps were like there in the gym, that's why I never really incorporated full on like band training, because there's not really too much I would really want to put in there, because I'd rather, like I said, before it's work out with a dumbbell or like a barbell. But another thing too, when it comes to learning what you have and don't have, is another thing too. What I've learned is man, you gotta I feel it's probably not mentioned as much, but I feel having a place and the ease of going slash having the equipment paid for, but you have to pay a monthly fee. I think that's overlooked in this society of fitness. Man, I've realized how much the gym, yes, is a sacred place when it comes to a lot of people, and the community, even though a lot of people like Roman and I know a lot of people out there, we're still trying to stay our healthiest, live our best life, when it comes to fitness. But at the end of the day, I could just remember man, going to the gym all the time, I gotta drive and do this, and then I want to get out of there. You don't, sometimes you don't stop and realize how much of that is so nice to have. Before we moved into my in-laws house, the condo we were living in, the gym that was literally walking distance closed down because of all this. They sent an email. Thankfully there's another gym. I'm a part of the insurance plan, but can you imagine if you went to a small town gym and then you can't even go back and see your people, and your friends, your family when it comes to lifting? So just that alone, what I've learned is man, you can never take things for granted. And that's all I wanted to say. Even with life,
Yeah.
all the stuff that you enjoy and like to do.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's really sad. Sorry to
Yeah,
hear that.
they emailed us, and dude, one of the trainers, we would talk, Sam and I would talk to him all the time. He was always saying hi to us. He knew he even he would ask us to help out and do stuff, and he knew us, and then I reached out to him because man, this guy this guy is taking care of his parents, and he helps out with his parents because his dad's on disability, and I'm man, like what do you need? Do you need any help? Things like that. Because this guy was such a good hearted man. It's just
Yeah.
unbelievable. And yeah, and I'm not saying, I just only say this because it is a fitness podcast. I know there's a lot of people out on jobs. I get that. I'm just saying just personally what I've learned about during this time, especially with working out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure. I mean, another thing that I learned, which has been really valuable, is that man, if you need to step away, and do something different,
Yeah.
from a health and fitness perspective, dude, that's totally okay. Don't freaking worry about it, man. Your life, whatever is a bigger priority, your mental health, something different, part of your physical health. I mean, I was probably really beating myself up, and I was really bummed when the gyms closed, but I was also really excited because I was thinking at the time oh cool, now I can kind of test out my flex my creativeness. But this past week, I think I took 4 days off because I kind of hurt my back again, all that
Oh
stuff.
man.
It was just it was a
Yeah.
stupid overtraining thing, I think. But a couple days off and it was totally fine. And now I'm all right, I'll just ramp back up slowly type situation. But yeah, just little things like that. Man, at the end of the day, if you go off plan a little bit, it's okay. If you want to get back on, get back on, do it. If that's what you want, do it. You can do it. All you need to do is start back at step one.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the guilt, backslide and all this stuff. For example, I was massing up to I massed up to 171, I think end of March, sometime in April, somewhere around there. And I was perfectly on plan with my goal. I was this is awesome. This is awesome. I'm getting towards that 185. And then I really stopped. I looked at my physique and I was this isn't what I want. I want to be bigger, have like a more impressive physique. Like I have like, you know, I want to like put some muscle here, yada, yada, yada. But like I looked at it and I was like, this is kind of going off track a little bit. I don't know if this is like the most healthy thing for me. So what I'm going to do is like, I'm just going to maintain for a while and see what happens. And I probably lost like some of the bloat from like eating like as much as I was. Cause like I would get up towards like 4,000 calories, like 171 pounds. Like, I mean, I walk a lot, but like, man, I was getting a little fluffy. But like the point, like what I'm trying to say is if like what you're doing isn't optimal, like that's totally okay. Like if you want to take a time and like you understand like it's not optimal, like dude, it's okay. Like if you want to get back to it, like you can totally try and optimize as many variables as possible. And like now that like I've had this time away from the gym, like man, I can't freaking wait. Like you know, if it has to be a few more weeks, it has to be a few more weeks. But like I'm so excited to like get back to it. But I think this time was like really important for me at like this time in my lifting journey, because you know, if I did get like some sort of serious injury because I like kept on lifting, kept on pushing like the weight, the numbers, like the sets, like the amount of time in the gym, like I mean I was spending like close to like 15 plus hours a week in the gym, you know. So it's okay to like be in a situation where like I'm not really sure, like, or like I can't like be like optimizing all these different variables right now. Like if you need to take like a step away or whatnot, and you like prioritize like let's say your mental health over like, you know, maybe like something like physical or like, you know, whatever like a fitness goal is, like dude, that's fine. Do it. Like do what's best for you. Yeah.
Sweet, man. Well, dude, thanks for sharing that. That's always good. Yeah, I love it. I feel the exact same way. So let's keep crushing it, guys. This is another good one. We do appreciate you guys listening. Roman, close us out, baby. You got this.
Man, what is that? Episode 35, folks? Oh my God. I didn't even give you the teaser. So here it comes, folks. We are working on something top secret for you. Remember how I just said I'm excited to get back? Well, we're excited to share that with you. Folks, we are going to roll out a program. It's going to be a power building program. You want to build some of these babies? You want to build some of these babies? You want to get that deadlift up, 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 up? What about that bench? You're like, man, I don't know how many times a week I should bench. Boom, we got you covered, folks. We're going to roll out a powerlifting program for you. That throws in some bodybuilding movements. You want to get them side delts bigger? So do I. You want to get them 3D delts? Make those rear delts pop? So do I. We're going to make it happen for you, folks. Tune in this Friday for what we learned during quarantine, but equally as important, maybe more important, tune in next Friday. Not sure what the date is. Sometime in June. It's the last Friday in June. I know that. And we're going to roll out maybe the spiciest Gainz podcast episode ever. As always, thanks for listening. Tune in. If you like the video and you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button. If you have questions for us, make sure you leave it in the comment section. If you really, really, really like the video, then why don't you subscribe to us? We're available on all the platforms, the YouTubes, the Stitcher, the Spotify, the Apple Podcasts, the Buzzsprout. If you have any questions, you can always slide into our DMs. We're here to help, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and enjoy your week.
Peace.